little folio made with Graphic 45's Wizard of Oz, Magic of Oz, the Deluxe Collector's Edition. And you will need an entire DCE to do this because use a lot of paper. But this is 5 1/4 by 7 1/4 with 1/2-inch spines, and it's a trifold design. The base is black cardstock, and I get this from envelopes.com. I buy the I think it's 12 by 18, and that way I don't have to join paper. However, if you do need to join paper to make the base, you can just put a strip of 1/2-inch score tape along the short end of an 8 1/2 by 11 piece of paper. Then take another piece of 8 1/2 by 11 and line it up with this, burnish it, and then you can just treat it like it's that 14 by 20 or 18, I forget what it is, but I'll have it linked in the supply list. So on the cover, I grew up loving The Wizard of Oz. It was one of my favorite children's books. I loved the friendship theme. I loved that little tiny shiver of fear I got whenever the Wicked Witch turned up. Every fall, I watched it with my brothers on television, and we had a black and white TV, so I was always disappointed when they got to Emerald City and it didn't turn green like the movie said it would. Anyway, many years later, I did finally see it in color, and I was duly impressed. So the Scarecrow was always one of my favorite characters, so I featured him on the cover. And I just fussy cut him from the designer paper pad, backed him with dimensionals, and then fussy cut a second time and popped it up to really give it some depth. This is chipboard, and I want to point out these charms. Look at these charms. These are from Butterbee Scraps. She has a whole Wizard of Oz. Here's the rainbow, Emerald City, Glinda's wand, hot air balloon. Look, here's Toto. She has Dorothy. She has the Wicked Witch. She has Emerald City. Anyway, oh, and the ruby slippers. You have to see these. I mean, come on. Come on. So I was really excited to have these gorgeous charms to make this little folio. These are Graphic 45, the blue roses, and I've tapped these with tarnished brass distress ink. And this is a blue and gold plaid from Really Reasonable Ribbon. I have loved this ribbon forever, and it is gorgeous with this collection. So, and then just gold metallic string. So this is a trifold, and it has a cutaway here. This is chipboard that I just tucked in. A lot of fussy cutting, and I love to fussy cut. If you don't, you probably won't love this, but I love to fussy cut, so this is a fun album for me. So fussy cut the Oz border, and then this page flip. Oh yeah, Graphic 45 drawer pull. I painted it with black chalk ink, then came back and tapped it with the tarnished brass just to give it this really vintage, and I felt like it blended in better with the papers this way. So the first turn is 4 by 7 1/4. And when I made this, I'll just go ahead and open it out so you can see. This is 12, and then 13, and then, okay. So it looks like I cut it to be like 12 by 16, 7 1/4 by 16. And then I just scored in my spines. So I'll just go over that quickly. There's no real tutorial. I didn't have time, but I will give you lots of tips. So 3, 3 1/2, 8 1/2, 9, and then this last piece goes over as far as it goes, and then score another 1.5 inches for the pocket, and then just fold that flat back, and there's your pocket. So on the front, this piece is a die cut piece, just from a die that I've had in my stash forever. I want to say it's maybe a Donna Salazar, maybe from ages ago from Spellbinders. But I cut this shape, and then this becomes the turn tab, and to cover the blank part, I just put these little stamps in there. These are, and look at this guy. I love the Scarecrow in this collection. He's so whimsical. He makes me happy. So fussy cut him, lay him on the flap with the little Oz chipboard buttons above and below. These are Graphic 45 laser cut alpha tags. These are the ATCs. And they gave me these when I was on the design team, and I've almost used them up. I'm so sad. I love these little tags. I never really used the alpha part so much, but I love the printed background and the size. So Graphic 45, if you're listening, please, please, please release these ATC tags without the laser cut, just with the triumphant red and the black background with the pattern, because they are fabulous to design with. So I hope you heard that, Graphic 45. Anyway, just playing cards layered on here very simply on the front. And I used the ATC tag die to cut the poppy paper for the liner. And on the back, I just cut a little, let's see, 2 1/4 by 2 1/2 square of the gingham from my scraps. So that goes in there. And of course, when you do this pocket, you want to line the base of your pocket before you fold the flap over. So that brings us over here. And this is the accordion file. This is 5 by 5. I'm pretty sure. Let me just double check myself. Yep, 5 by 5. And the way I do this, I just take 12 by 12 black cardstock and I cut 2 5 by 12 panels, join the short ends together with the score tape like I told you before, and then just accordion fold every 5 inches. So score and accordion fold. So the ribbon closure, this opens out like this. And when you get done, and then I've just lined this with patterned papers, when you get done, you have this little flap piece that's back behind here. That's, oh, I don't know, it's about 2 1/2 inches. I adhere that. That's the piece I use like a flap to adhere to my base panel. And then if you adhere it just around the edges, it creates a pocket here where you can tuck cool things in. So that's a really good tip. And then I fussy cut Dorothy and the compass and added a sticker and a chipboard, and she just lives in this little pocket. I just think she's so cute. So there's that. So this opens out this way. Pull this in so you can see. And then it opens out this way. So that's a fun thing. And then you just adhere the ribbon to the back with your score tape before you put it down on your, add it to your panel. And it's just a super easy way to add a larger sized accordion folio to this smaller card folio size. So that brings us to the center panel, and I created a flap just by cutting this. Let me see, this is 4 1/2, and it was probably like 4 1/2 by, let's see, probably 4 1/2 by 7, and I scored a 1/2 inch flap and then glued that down back behind my bottom panel. But then I thought, ooh, this could be fun. Fussy cut him. This has a magnetic closure. So this base piece is all one piece. This is 7 inches wide by 6 1/4 inches tall, and I just scored it at 4 1/4 inches and folded it to make this little flap, and then added my magnet on the back side and another magnet here that I've covered up with designer paper, and that makes this really fun little extra flap feature. And of course this flips up like this, and this is where I hid my magnet back here. More fussy cutting, and then the little pocket. And then this turn tab here is what's left from die cutting the pocket. Here I just use a circle die, super easy. And then I just created a series of little, I think these are 4 1/4 by 6 1/4, yep, photo mounts that go in the pocket. So lots of room for photos, even though it's only a 5 1/4 by 7 1/4. You've got loads and loads of room for photos, fun little flap features, room for journaling, a fun pull-out feature, little pockets, little extra fussy cuts. I just think it's adorable. I really had fun making it. And on the back, I just lined it with the green diagonal stripe. So I will have a linked supply list and maybe some measurements if I have time. I wish I always had time to do a tutorial. But here's the thing. When I make a folio like this, I'm creating it as I go. This started out to be a card, and it ended up being a folio because my brain is like a three-ring circus, and I'm a very much a spontaneous creator. Sometimes I have a vision, I never have a plan. I just kind of dive in and make. So this comes together, and I'm as surprised as anyone when it's finished, because a lot of times I just create as I go. So to provide you with a tutorial, I have to completely remake this project, which takes another day or two, plus the video, plus the editing. I don't always have time to do that. I do it as often as I possibly can, but I mean, you know, somebody's got to cook dinner and somebody's got to wash the dirty underwear, and that's me. So lots of tips here. You should be able to, you have a visual. I didn't have a visual. You have a finished project to look at. You should, with the measurements and stuff, be able to figure this out. But I will have a still gallery of photos following this. And if you go to my website, kathybydesign.com, I'll have lots of tips and tricks there too. And between the two, you should be able to put this together if you'd like to. So that's me. Thanks for joining me, and thanks for understanding why I can't always do a tutorial. I know you always want them, and I always want to do them, but enough said. I'm going to go get my craft done. Thanks for joining me. Bye.